Welcome back to another episode of All Things Everything, presented by Gulf Coast Smoke. My name is Alonzo.
And I'm Sabrina.
And this is episode 74. How is your Wednesday going?
It is a good Wednesday. We've actually gotten some rain this past couple days, which has been nice. Just hanging out with the kids, working on videos, working on content. So, good week so far.
Good week so far. Man, it's been, I ain't going to lie to you, it's maybe been the worst week of work that I've had. I don't want to say ever, but I mean, it's up there. It's been up there. Like it's been
just like busy wise or just people?
No, not people. It's never people. I'm pretty good with people, especially at work. I think, like customer service has always kind of been one of my strong suits, but it's just, we got some stuff going on and, I don't even know how to explain it. There's just so much going on. We've been spread really thin. Manager's out of town and Joseph was sick yesterday, so it was me and Daniel trying to hold down the fort, and it seems like everything that could have gone wrong really kind of did. And then, we have vendors in town, and they need stuff, and it's like when vendors are in town, obviously you're paying them to be there. So you got to make sure that you're kind of sort of there for them when they need you. But with only two people, it makes it really hard because you feel spread thin. But I do feel like we've done a pretty good job. Well, we've done the best that we can. It still doesn't make it not, I don't even want to say frustrating, but it just feels like, you kind of get into where you think you're catching up and then something else comes. And, we've had, I don't even know how many issues this week where it's like, hey, no, this needs to be done like now. And it's like, dude, that's kind of impossible. It's just not the way the process of things work. It's not even that you don't want to do it. It's like, hey, I quite literally cannot get that done within the next 30 minutes. Like what you're asking me to do, it's physically impossible. And it's almost like that's not acceptable. But I mean, it kind of sort of has to be because there's really no other way to do it, right? So working with the vendor was pretty difficult the last couple of days, but we finally got stuff figured out. And yeah, I don't know. It's just been a week. It's just been a week. I have one more day of work, which is tomorrow. And after that, we'll hopefully just be able to concentrate. We will, but concentrate on filming this upcoming weekend. I want to do 2 turkey breasts this weekend. We like filming turkey breast content, and I like eating turkey breasts. We're also going to be doing a pellet grill brisket. Oddly enough, we have never done a pellet grill brisket video on our channel.
Yeah, we were going back and forth the other day. Like, have we done it? I think we've done it.
We've done a overnight brisket, like the Frio method brisket, but we've never just done like a straight, hey, 225 degrees, bump it up here, wrap it here, whatever, on a pellet grill. We've never done that, which is super surprising to me.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'll say about briskets on a pellet grill that we've found out, and we are going to go over in the video, we're going to do that video this weekend, is that, man, brisket in a pellet grill is different because it's convection, right? So you have air circulating, smoke circulating all around that brisket. And if you don't watch out, you can easily dry up the edges of those briskets.
Yeah.
So you and I have cooked enough of them on there because as much as I do like to smoke brisket on my offset smoker, and I do think that's my preferred way, it's not always easy to do. We got to get the offset out of the trailer, bring it over here because it's our competition cooker, right? So we got to bring it out of the trailer, go get the trailer, bring it to the house, wheel it to the backyard, and it makes it a little bit hard. That being said, I would like to figure out a way that we could either get a second outlaw or, something that we could always just keep in the backyard. And this is something that we'll talk about in a little bit because there was a question about what's the best backyard smoker right now. And we'll talk about our thoughts on that just a little bit because we haven't had many smokers, but, we do have our opinions, obviously, right? But anyway, it takes a lot for us to get that grill, that smoker to the backyard. So for us to do a pellet grill brisket, especially when somebody calls and they're like, hey, the other day I had Mondo ask me to do some stuff for his daughter. Not last minute, but, kind of sort of last minute. So I didn't have enough time to go get the smoker. And, we did them on the pellet grill and they turned out really, really good.
Yeah.
And we've done them whenever we just want to do stuff at the house or we just feel like eating a brisket. And man, we've gotten to where I feel like they're pretty dang good. Like, yeah. I mean, you can definitely still tell it's not done on an offset, if I'm being honest, but they're still really, really good. Fat gets really rendered, and the brisket just turns out really, really good. So we do plan on cooking one of those this upcoming weekend, and that'll be next Wednesday's video, along with at least one turkey breast video and hopefully at least one other short as well. We are just trying to stay on top of the content because next week we will be visiting Mississippi again. We'll be going to hang out with Malcolm, Rochelle, Tyler, and the crew, and some other ambassadors as well for a few days, so we really look forward to that. But we're going to try and just stay in front of the content. That's the biggest thing for us is, there's a contest about 15 minutes from the house this weekend, and I texted Sabrina earlier in the week, and I was like, hey, there's a contest. And I was actually really thankful. I'm not exaggerating. I was really thankful that you, instead of just like giving in and saying, yeah, let's go, which I know you would do that for me, I was really, really thankful that you were like, no, let's do the one a month that we promised ourselves we were going to do, because that is something that Sabrina and I have talked about. And it's very important for us to stay on top of the content because it is what drives our business personally for us. Other people are different. We're not saying that that's what you guys need to do, but for us, that is what we need to do. So I was actually really happy that you said that, because if you would have been like, okay, let's go.
Which is usually what I say.
Yeah. It really is usually what you would say, because, you're awesome. You would just be like, whatever Alonzo wants to do, I'll do. Right. And that's incredible. But this time, and hopefully moving forward, right, you just say, hey, look, let's stick to our one a month that we promised ourselves, and like that's it.
Yeah.
And I do think that that's going to be really good for us, because we're going to be able to do, at least 2 videos, maybe 3 this weekend, and then we'll be a little bit ahead, which is going to be very nice.
Yeah, for sure. And so kind of going back to last week, so we didn't have a podcast last week, but we did have a regular form video.
We did film a podcast.
Yeah,
don't think that we didn't, but it was just last week was a really weird week. Some stuff happened at work, nothing with me personally, but some stuff happened at work that kind of put me in a really weird headspace. And I just felt off the whole time when I was talking. And, you kind of felt the same way. It didn't feel right. Nothing. I was even telling Sabrina after, I was like, dude, I don't even know what I said.
Right.
I really don't even remember what I said. I don't even remember what I talked about, what we talked about. I don't remember what my mood was like. And the last thing I want is for that to come off. I do want to be real with you guys, especially on the podcast. But, man, I also don't want to be like super sad or anything like that. And I just felt really off last week. And so I texted Sabrina and I said, hey, let's just not put that podcast out this week. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm positive. So we did film something, and we did get our time to sit here and talk with each other, but it just felt off. And I do apologize that we didn't post anything last week. So hopefully you guys are more than happy or satisfied that we came back this week, and we're in a definite better mood, right? I mean, work has sucked this week, don't get me wrong, but we all have our days, we all have our times, and man, I've kind of been on the fence about it recently, because I've always had that mindset. It's like, man, stuff happens, get over it. It is what it is. And I still kind of do feel like that, but man, we all have our days, right? We for sure all have our days where we're just like, man, I'm not feeling it. And I also think that that's okay as well.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that you can have too many of those days, because then I think they'll take over. That's why we try and stay really positive, and we try and surround ourselves with family and friends. And, I talk to Chance every day, as much as I can throughout the day, like keeping somebody close to me that I love, that cares about me. I care about him. And it's really good having that friend. And then you and I, of course, and coming home and seeing the kids. And we have our routine. We make a good dinner together. We try and go shower really quickly. We try and watch anime together. Like, I was even talking to somebody at work, and they were like, man, you're not finished with Black Clover. I'm like, dude, I watch it with my family. Like, I have watched every episode of Black Clover with my wife and 3 kids. And they're like, dude, that is the dream. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it is. It really is. Like, that's something that's satisfying for our family, right? So we're watching Black Clover together. Yes, if it was just Sabrina and I, we would have been done with it already.
Oh, yeah.
100%, right? But we watch it at a slower pace because the kids are also watching with us. But it's cool because now Alonso wants to be Asta. He wants to be Asta for Halloween.
Yeah.
And, it's cool because we do like the anime, and we're really excited to share stuff like that with our family. Like, we went and watched the Demon Slayer movie together, right? Like, that's something that we just want to do together. So we have our things and our moments. So kind of like I was saying, I definitely don't think there's anything wrong with having your bad days, but just, do your best to, make sure that you have more good than bad if you can. Like, in your brain. Remind yourself, like we've talked about this recently. We talked about it last week on the podcast, but the podcast didn't come out. And it can always be worse.
Yeah.
And things can be taken from you in an instant. Like I said, we had the situation at work, which I won't talk about because it didn't happen to me and it's not really my business to talk about, but things could have changed in an instant for this person. And it was a shocking reminder that in our everyday lives, we are just doing things and we just feel like, we're going to be fine, right? Like, I'm driving to work. I'm going to make it there. I'm driving from work. I'm going to make it home. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to, my arms are always going to function properly. My legs are always going to be able to hold up my body. I'm never going to break a bone or just whatever. Like, I think it's very easy to forget that those things can be taken from you in an instant. And that's all that I'll say about it, right? And that's really kind of where we were at last week, but I just didn't feel good. I just didn't feel good. So I guess a little bit of vulnerability there, but it was still a really good weekend. We tried our best to get away from town, and we went to the Danny Dietz contest in Waller, Texas at the Jellystone, the Yogi Bear Jellystone Park in Waller, Texas. Really cool place. We were in the back of the whole park, so we were a little secluded. But overall, it was a really, really fun event. And, man, I mean, how did it go?
Well, hold on. We're back up with our recipe for last week.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, because we did talk about it, but you guys didn't hear about it. So, sorry about that.
Just to recap, so we did rotisserie hot honey chicken. Now, the Weber Searwood XL, I believe also the Weber Spirit, and a Weber kettle, although I don't know if Weber has this attachment for the Weber kettle, but you can get one on Amazon. But yeah, so Weber makes this attachment for the Weber Searwood XL, and it's a really big rotisserie. You can fit, I don't know, what would you say, maybe 4 chickens tops on there if you put them all like squished together?
Man, I don't really know because we put 3 on there with ease. And
yeah,
it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. We'll talk about the recipe, but I got a few comments that are like, you keep talking about 2 rotisserie chickens, but there's 3 there.
Oh, yeah. I was like, why is that your takeaway from this?
Yeah, I'm like, well, okay, so we cooked 2 hot honey, and then we cooked 1 just with Southern Belle for my mom because my mom doesn't want hot honey. So we just had to throw them all on there, and it is what it is. But we only tried to focus the video on the 2 hot honey ones, and we tried to not get any of the footage of the other one, but it was just naturally in there. But everyone was like, you're saying 2, but you have 3. I'm like, dude. That's got nothing to do with anything. That's got nothing to do with anything, man. It's just focus on the hot honey ones and the recipe, and that's it.
Yeah. So, as you said, we did the 2 hot honey. We had an extra one on there. So the premise of this was, we really love rotisserie chicken. We love hot honey. Why not combine the 2, right?
Yeah. And it's just kind of funny because I mentioned this in the video, and I've said it before. I used to think like hot honey was just so dumb, so trendy. Like, dude, there's no way. And I think what really turned me off about hot honey, honestly, was that I saw people putting it on pizza, like in the very beginning of the early stages of it. Now, that being said, I like hot honey. I'd probably try that now. But in the beginning, I'm like, dude, who would do that? Right? And why would you do that? And it kind of turned me off on hot honey. That being said, I do not remember the first time we tried it, and I don't remember what made us try it, but in my honest opinion, hot honey is delicious. I mean, everything that we've done with it has turned out incredible. Like, literally, I haven't had anything bad with hot honey. And even the other day, I did like a meal prep for work. I mentioned this. I've been trying to eat better, and I've been doing a pretty good job at it. The other day, I made ground beef with scrambled eggs and cauliflower rice, and I actually drizzled hot honey all over it. And, dude, it was fire, bro. It was fire. It was super fire. And I was like, I gave a bite to Joseph at work, and he's like, bro, what did you do to that? And I told him, he's like, dude, I went home last night. I made it. So we're making it because all of us at work are trying to, like eat a little bit better. And he's like, bro, I ate so much of that. I think I just made it unhealthy with how much I ate. Like, and it really is such a good meal. So obviously didn't really have any plans to talk about this at all. But if you want something that's pretty healthy and tastes delicious, I'm telling you, cauliflower rice, ground beef, scrambled eggs with a drizzle of hot honey. So good. Low carb, high protein, good fats in there. The only thing that's going to be bad, quote, is going to be that hot honey, but I didn't put too much.
Yeah, yeah. And so with these chickens, we seasoned them with Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
And that base, we wanted to give a little savoriness to it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then so kind of towards the end, around maybe 15 degrees before, it got to our target temp.
Sure.
We started basting it with some butter and hot honey.
Super simple.
Super simple.
Super simple. We tried to keep the recipe to where, we try to keep every recipe to where it's foolproof, right? Because we understand that not everybody cooks this way, and sometimes when people see a difficult recipe, they don't even want to attempt it. So we keep those things in mind, right? Everything that we do, it's like, okay, let's try and make this to where someone will want to replicate it, right? Rather than 600 ingredients, 40 techniques. Well, shoot, no one's going to do that.
Well, and the thing with the rotisserie, too, is I think everybody thinks that you can only get a rotisserie chicken from, like, H-E-B, Walmart, Sam's Club, supermarket, right? But the reality is you can make it really, really easily at home, especially if you just get one of those attachments. And like you mentioned, you can do it on the Weber kettle.
We would have done, so here's the thing. If we didn't have to cook 3, we would have done it on the what's it called? On the Weber kettle. 100%.
But that being said, the Searwood and
delicious.
pellet grills in general, they cook chicken really well.
Yeah, convection, we talked about that, right?
For sure.
So it gets that skin to where it's nice and cooked. All that fat is nice and rendered, and you can see it in the video. If you watch that video, I took the knife to that breast, and it went through that skin with ease.
Which somebody was mad because they're like, you didn't let it rest.
Yeah, and
but they didn't know like we were like fighting the weather.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I love. But did you see my response to him?
No, I don't remember if I saw it or not.
I was like, you can rest it when you make this smiley face.
Did. Yeah.
The thing about it is, it's this, right? Nobody really knows what we go through when we're filming, and it's I don't necessarily need them to know. But guys, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, a storm was rolling in, and you actually turned around and started filming it, but it didn't make it into the video, which is completely fine. But I think
I'm pretty sure it did.
Did it?
Yes.
I was just like, guys, we're fighting the. I kind of was doing like a little forecasting. I thought it didn't make it into the video.
No, it did.
Okay.
It did. Yeah.
So that's why we were just like, okay, yes, we would have taken it out and tried everything inside, right? But like, we're just like, okay, we don't know if this is going to happen, so let's just cut it right here and eat it right here. That's why
we're bringing all of it over for the family.
Yeah, 100%. So it's just, it's not always as black and white as it seems. Like, oh, we just didn't want to rest it and we cut it or whatever. And sometimes people are like, you didn't rest it. I'm like, bro, that rested for like 45 minutes. You got no idea.
Most of the time, everything rests for like 45 minutes.
And it's like, dude, it is literally cold when I eat it.
Yeah.
We're trying to get a perfect thumbnail picture. We're trying to do this. We're trying to set up the cameras. We got to get the lighting right. We got to make sure it's just, there's so much to it. But that being said, I don't expect anybody to understand that. But it's like, okay, you're just wrong. Like, you're just wrong when you say what you're saying, because but it's funny. And I do love, it just depends on the day. Sometimes I leave it alone. Sometimes I'll comment back. Right. So now we have Chance. Shout out to Chance. We have Chance helping us out with our Facebook page. Right. So he has access to our Facebook page. We kind of have him. I gave him some roles, right, within the company to actually start doing a little bit more. One of those roles is to actually have access to the Facebook, post as if he's us, kind of like watch the trends that I do or that you do, and, make it seem to where, it's just us posting. And that's exactly what we want. And he's been doing a really good job of that. So shout out to Chance again. Another thing he's been doing is he's been reaching out to potential stores, right? So I created him an email account. He's got a chance@gulfcoastsmoke.com account now. And he's reaching out to stores and he's saying, hey, this is who we are. I work for Gulf Coast Smoke. I work with these guys. This is Alonzo and Sabrina's contact. If you guys are interested, you can still reach out to them. But I'm here on behalf of them. And if you're interested in carrying our products, this is how to do it.
Yeah, so if Chance reaches out to you, give him a chance.
Yeah, give
Chance a chance.
If Chance reaches out to you, give him a chance, right? But no, I will say that we do plan on having him on the podcast again soon. Just kind of a little update. We can reintroduce him, and you guys can kind of see that he is doing more within the company now. And it is something that, we've consistently tried to find ways for opportunities for people to help us. Sabrina and I have been. It's hard, right? It's hard to release your baby a little bit, right? Because this is something that we've built from the ground up, right? And it's at where it's at primarily because of Sabrina and I up until this point. But we have seen some of these larger companies that have scaled a lot larger than us, and they have a team in place to help them with things. So that's why we're trying to find people where we can plug them in and, do what we can for them. So Chance is kind of stepping into roles within the company, and he's been such a large supporter of what we've been doing for the longest time that naturally it felt like he's the only person that I would ask first when it came to doing something like this. And the good thing about Chance is we've had conversations about, he sent me the first email that he was sending out to people. And I said, hey, great email, but why don't we try and tweak it here, here, and here? And it's very, very easy to talk to him about it, and he's open to it, right? He's not like, well, no, I don't like that idea. The hardest part about it, I think, one of these days is going to be separating the fact that we are best friends and also we are working together towards a greater goal. But it's the same thing with you and I, right? I'm married to you. We are literally married, and we sometimes we have differences on our thought process on this or our thought process on this. Man, I tell you what, if I can get through it with you, I promise I can do it with anybody. I promise. It's just one of those things where, we have to understand that we are working towards the greater good of this, right? For example, I could have easily been like, no, we're going to that contest. And then it would have started an argument. No, we're not. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Yes, or, whatever. But instead,
now I would have been like, all right.
No,
I guess we're going.
No, but I mean,
I get what you're saying.
My point of that is when you said that, I'm like, okay, she's right. I have to respect that. I have to listen because we did promise that to each other. No matter how badly we want, I promise you we want to go to that contest. We have to work on our company and we have to keep pushing forward. And that's exactly why we're doing it the way we're doing. Next October is going to be our next contest. It's going to be the Battling Buck in Ingleside. Battling Buck. Battling. Why did I say Battling Buck? The Battling, what is it?
Battling Barbecue.
Battling Buck, like the Miller Bucks in Corpus. The Battling Barbecue in Ingleside. And that's going to be the next one. And then in November, we'll see if we have time for another one. And, it's just is what it is. That's the way we have to do things. Yeah. Unless there's a gigantic one and then one in our hometown or something, we are sticking to one a month forever. The one I do, now I will say this. I kind of I don't want to say made up my mind the other day, but I thought to myself, man, we really need to go to the American Royal next year. I think we should try it at least one time in our lives, go to the American Royal, enjoy the experience, come home, and live with the results.
Yeah, which now would be more comfortable doing because we have the RV. Right, for sure. But, before we get into how the competition went, because we're on the subject of like Facebook and comments, right? So on Facebook, you posted a picture or pictures of all of our turn-ins. And I usually, I'm not the type to go and read comments for reasons like I'm about to say. But I did look at the comments on those. And, and it's funny because the majority of them are very positive, right? Yeah. Everything looks great. But as far as like the negative ones, some people are so outraged that we're trying to make good-looking presentations, right? Yeah. And it's funny because, the comments vary from, appearance shouldn't matter. Why are they judging on appearance? What's happened to competition barbecue? I don't care what something would look like. If it's the ugliest effing thing I've ever seen, as long as it tastes good, that's all that matters. And I think it's so funny because the reality is, like, as much as those people want to say that looks don't matter, they obviously do, and comments like that prove it right because you have absolutely nobody besides me and you and whoever else was there that tasted it has any idea what it tasted like.
Sure.
With that post, the only thing you can judge on is the appearance, right? Yeah. And all of these people, they instantly go to that must not taste good. It looks pretty, that must not taste good. Yeah. So you are judging on the looks because it's pretty. You're writing it off as being something that didn't taste good. Yeah. Exactly, which I think is just, it's so funny because, like, I don't understand why people get so outraged over it. Mm-hmm. And now I can tell you, we do like to put on, pretty boxes. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, first and foremost, we're always trying to get the best flavor. We're always trying to get the best texture. Mm-hmm. I mean, we know that that's what matters. But at the end of the day, competition involves presentation. It is a score on the scorecard. So we're always going to try to make something look good. So it's frustrating because I think that there are some of the, which in this scenario, we had some, what was the ratio of KCBS trained judges? I think it was like 4 out of the 6 judges per table.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Right. So you have trained judges, but you still have some people that are not. And this is something that like in CBA and IBCA, we find a lot of. But there's people who, for example, like they see the glare, the shine on the picture, and they're writing it off as, oh, that's too much sauce.
Yeah.
And so it's a scary thing.
What people don't realize is I've got a light above the picture to try and make it like there's no filter on the pictures, but I've got a light above the picture that's shining on it. And yeah, it makes it look a little bit more shiny than it actually is. I'm going to be honest with you, right? Like, but I'm not editing the picture. All I'm doing is adding light to it. So I have like a little, what is that?
It's like
small
a
rig.
handheld LED. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small rig light. I've got it in my hand and I hold it over. So I basically, if you're looking at the camera, I got my phone like this and I got the light right here and I'm just moving around. And you even see how I do it. I take like 20 pictures of each box.
Right.
And then I go back and I find the one that I like the most and then that's the one that I keep and I delete the rest. But yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying because the truth is I do think that no matter what anyone says, there is 100% a skill to making the barbecue look that good. There is. Yeah. Now, am I saying that we're the best at it? No, I am not. But I do think that the kind of people that we are is we do want to hit all the marks, like you said. So yes, I do want it to look better than everybody else's, if possible. I want it to taste better than everybody else's, if possible. And I want it to be better texture than everyone else's, if possible. Yeah. On Friday, before we were going up to the contest, I was talking to Fred on the phone for like 2 hours on the way. And literally, we were talking the whole... Actually, shout out Fred, right? He won the event. The dude is... You know, it's funny. And I think I literally told him on the phone that day. I was like, you know what's crazy? Is like, I still do... I used to look up to Fred like big time. Right? Like Fred's a legend. And now he's like one of my really good friends. It's just crazy how life happens, right? And I still feel the same exact way. I do feel like Fred is one of, and I'm not going to just talk about Fred for 20 minutes or anything, but Fred is like one of the best people I've ever met. He's just such a great dude. And for him to win that event, it just further shows how dominant he is. He's just so good at what he does. I've tasted his food plenty of times before. Never have I ever thought, man, that's gross, or that's not good, or that's too this, or that's too that. He always hits his marks. Fred is a legend, and he won that event. I mean, just well-deserved. Shout out to Eddie Morales, the pit father for RGC. Also want to say shout out to Eddie for dropping his brisket vendetta. He dropped a new seasoning. He put it on his website. He's sold out. Kevin Hernandez dropped 3 new seasonings as well. He put it on his website. He's selling it very well. We've had this conversation before. I'm going to say it once. I'll say it again. Man, go buy their seasonings. Support what they're doing. Grow the game of barbecue. That does not mean you can't support us and them at the same time, and we will never be offended. We'll never be anything by anyone who wants to create a brand in the barbecue space. There's enough room at the dinner table for everyone to eat. I've said this once, I'll say it a million times, and I truly believe that. Because, you know, we have products that are going to be coming out that other people have made before, right? Other people have made glazes. 100%. That's fine. We want to make glazes too. Ours are different than those, right? We made them the way we wanted them. There's great products out there. A lot of amazing glazes that I've tasted. I promise you, at least in our opinion, these are like nothing that we've tasted before. They are a little bit different. We tried to build them with a different viscosity. We tried to have a little bit more vinegar forward because we like vinegar, right? They're not as spicy as some of these out there. There's plenty of things that are different. But even if, I've said this before and I'll say it one more time, just kind of like I did the other thing. An idea comes from somebody, right? The only person in the world ever that can say that they came up with whatever is the very first person that ever created a barbecue seasoning. Yeah, they started the trend, right? When we started doing seasonings, I got the idea and the inspiration from Malcolm Reed. 100%. 100%. Now, the reason that we wanted to get into glazes is because we feel like that's a market that's a little bit less saturated, right? So that's our thought process behind it. And we do want to put out products that our other thing is, man, if we can't, again, go support Kevin, go support Eddie, go support Fred, Bill, Phil, everybody, support them all. I guarantee you, every single one of them would love nothing more than to use every single product that they do on a daily basis with their logo on it. Ask them, and they'll all say the same exact thing. Oh, yes, we would love that. That's what we're trying to build. We're trying to build to where if we need something at the house, man, go in the pantry and get whatever, right? It's not just a barbecue seasoning. It's a pantry essential. It's something that you can use every day. Oh, you need a sauce? Go grab my Asian sauce. We love Asian food. Yeah, it's a goal of ours to have an Asian sauce. That doesn't mean that we are copying anybody who has an Asian sauce, right? So there's so much that you can make product-wise. Do it. Embrace it. Be proud of it. Promote it. Market it. Build it, right? Like, do whatever you can. And I think that would be incredible. Like I said, one of these days, man, I would love for people to be able to go grab an enchilada seasoning. Like, I look at Fiesta brand as a very dominant brand because they've got onion powder, garlic powder, salt, popcorn salt, fajita seasoning, pinto bean seasoning. That's what we would love to do one day, right? And anybody who has a brand like this that's starting these products, I promise you, they want products that have their brand and label on it too. So that's all that we're really trying to do. So anyway, shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Eddie. Congrats to Eddie on the RGC, and congrats to Fred on the GC, which is big time. But kind of back to what we were talking about, right? We were kind of talking to what were we talking about?
You were saying that you were talking with Fred. You were going about something that you and Fred were talking about.
Man, we talked about, I don't know, for a couple hours. So sorry, but yeah, I don't even remember what we were going. I know we were talking about the boxes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't.
And I think the thing that's like really frustrating about that too is, people when they see anything that's competition barbecue related, they assume that we are trying to tell them that this is how brisket needs to be. This is how ribs need to be. No, this is competition. This is different. We're not saying that this is how it is in the backyard. Like, who's that guy, the chocolatier that does the super amazing sculptures with chocolate, right? He's not telling you to go build a 4-foot chocolate pelican when you're craving chocolate.
For sure.
Like, those are two completely different scenarios. And it's the same with competition barbecue. This is like a specific scenario where we're going to box brisket like this, or trim it like this, or cut it like this, or sauce it like this. You know what I mean? And
and then, it's one of those things, we've had this conversation many times because this has happened to us many times.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I'll say is there's no, we did what we wanted to do, 100%. We wanted the boxes to look that pretty, and I think we succeeded. And honestly, if I'm being real with you, I've looked at those pictures again. There's things I would change.
Oh, for sure. I already saw, like, on the brisket, I was like, man, there's a drop of sauce right there at the front. And I was like,
and again, it's just like, that's the way Sabrina and I are. And you know what? If I've had so many people tell us, your stuff looks way too perfect, it's not going to score good. Okay. We're going to keep doing it. That's fine. That's fine. That's honestly fine with me. And I know that sounds stupid, but I believe we should stick to our guns and just do what we do. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, for sure. I think what would be a really interesting idea before we get into the actual competition is to have some sort of, like, I don't know, almost like get competition barbecue guys almost as vendors, and we all put out competition food as tasting, so people could actually try what we're putting out at a competition, because I think if people actually tasted it, they would go back on what they're saying, which we've done in a way with our brisket video. We did a backyard versus competition, and competition won. I think if people actually tasted it, they would think differently. It's not just a looks thing. We do concentrate on the taste. So going into the competition, now this was a KCBS. So, our boxes involved having the kale, having the garnish. So we really were, of course, trying to make a cool presentation since we don't really get the chance to use the kale with, CBA, IBCA. But let's go into the taste. Now, chicken has been our strong suit so far. How did you feel our chicken went?
So honestly, what I'll say is that I truly felt, and we've had this conversation a lot lately. I truly felt like the cook went. I mean, I don't want to say perfect, but
It was spot on.
It was spot on. It felt really good. Everything really clicked. We tasted everything. We were really happy with everything. We don't feel like our food has changed since we were hitting a lot. And the chicken was very good. The chicken was good. It was juicy. It was tender. The skin was fully bite through. The flavor was there. Just everything. I felt very confident with our chicken. I thought that it looked great. I thought that it tasted great. We ended up with a 50th place chicken out of, what was it, like 95 teams or something like that?
93, I believe.
But, I mean, honestly, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's one of those things I try not to get too down about these things because, again, we have something else that we're trying to do with this brand. We're trying to continue to put out videos, backyard videos, tri-tips, turkey breasts, chickens, whatever. So that's really our focus, but it is definitely hard when you're like, man, what? And then you don't get comments. So you're like, what? Okay, what did you not like about the chicken?
Right.
And the thing is, there was so many 7s and 8s flying around that it's like, I looked at the tables, there was a lot of 7s and 8s. And it's like, wow, I'm not really sure what people just didn't like about it.
And a 7 kills you.
A 7 kills you. A 7 will, I mean, if you're getting 7s, you're out of the contest. Believe it or not, though, we got 7s on appearance. On multiple meats. So again, I don't know, but I thought that the chicken was really good. I mean, from your point of view, how did the chicken go?
Well, and also, so what was this, on Thursday? You did a live on YouTube, on Facebook of trimming these chicken thighs. So I feel like if you're having trouble with chicken thighs, regardless of how we placed this past weekend, definitely you can rewatch that video, right? Even though it's not live.
It's posted on our Facebook page, yeah.
Right. So go look at that and you can see, from the picture that we posted on Facebook, the product, what was the aftermath of actually trimming those thighs, right? So I thought the chicken was good. I thought it was as good as it's always been. And the thing with this KCBS is because we had everything, with the exception of chicken, we had all of our meats already off the pit and resting in the Cambro because, the turn-in times are 30 minutes. So we wanted to make sure we had everything ready. So with chicken, we were like, okay, well, let's give ourselves a little extra 10 minutes. Let's start 10 minutes before. Let's make sure that everything is spot on the way we want it. So we had that time to get that perfect sear on the bottom of our chicken that we like to get. We had all the time we needed to make this a perfect chicken, and I thought we nailed it. I mean, I thought it was exactly what we want. Now, maybe is it KCBS? And that's the thing is when you have a mixture of trained judges, not trained judges. I don't know if these people came from Kansas City or that area or if they're from Texas, but, we like to use a little bit of hospitality on our chicken.
Yeah.
Right? That's a little Texas thing. I don't know if they necessarily like that in Kansas City barbecue.
Yeah.
So maybe it was more of a flavor thing. I'm not too sure. But texture-wise, I mean, the chicken was spot on, and it was definitely the chicken we like to put out.
Yeah. And, I'll say this much. That's the exact chicken that we've been putting out the past 8 contests. And in the past 8 contests, besides this KCBS and one other, we've been doing pretty good with it. So we didn't change anything. That's the one thing I will say. We did not change our recipes or do anything differently for this KCBS. We ran it exactly the same way we would run a CBA. We just adjusted our times a little bit. So we'd make sure, like Sabrina said, that all the meats were done prior to chicken being off of the can. And, I was really happy with chicken. And that's always a good sign, at least, well, in my opinion, right? It's a good start. Okay, we're on the right path. And then, rolling into ribs, man, I just thought they were so excellent.
Oh, I ate. So, of course, when you're slicing these ribs, we like to try some from each rack of ribs. And usually it's just a bite, right? So I had my, 3 ribs from each rack, and you're like, you want me to throw these? I'm like, no, I want to go back and eat them. Like, that's how good that they were.
For sure. And I mean, it's like I said, it's hard. It's hard because it's like, okay, we really are enjoying these ribs. We had, Dad taste it. He liked it. At the last contest, Chance liked it. Danielle liked it. We've had people that are tasting them and they're saying they're good. And we try and judge it based off of that because they're like backyard judges. And I'm like, hey, y'all have to be honest with me.
Well, the kids especially, when they try something.
When the kids are brutally honest. They're like, oh, I don't like that or whatever. And a lot of the times they're right. Man, they've been liking the food lately.
Yeah.
So it's hard because it's like, okay, we don't want to make any changes, but do we need to make changes? So, man, we ended up putting some really good ribs in the box. I thought the box looked great. I thought the ribs tasted immaculate. And we ended up with a 77th rib.
Yeah.
And that was like, gosh darn, man. I mean, how? It almost feels like, but, you know, I saw some really good rib cooks get around the same spot as us, and I was like, man, that just doesn't make sense. Like Sergio Chapa with Coyote Cookers, he's a damn good rib cook, and I think he was in the 70s too. So, I mean, it's like...
Well, and I've said this before, when it comes to these really, really big contests, they're a lot of fun, and winning them is a lot of fun because it's like, okay, I just beat a whole bunch of people, right? But ideally, very small contests and very large contests are, you know, they have that, everything has a pro and con, right? But the con for those is that the difference in tables is huge. There's so many tables, so many different judges. You don't know where your food is going.
Yeah.
So, you know, some people could be hitting really good tables. Some people could be hitting really bad tables. There's no, like, the chances of you getting on, like, that perfect angel table is really small, right?
Yeah, but if you do, so that's the thing, right? And you're 100% correct. But the thing is, when you hit that good table, you've got to execute.
Oh, well,
you
no,
have
for
to
sure.
execute. So, like, angel tables are there. Death tables are there. But when you hit an angel table, you got to do your job and you got to beat everybody else on the table.
Well, for sure, because anybody else who's on that table with you also has that, I guess, quote unquote, advantage, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's an advantage. I think it just happens that way, and that's part of the sport.
But that's
right now we're in a little bit of a slump, but I guarantee you we'll come out of it and we'll start doing well again. And it's just how it goes.
But that's my point, is that there's when you have these big contests, there's the array of judges is just so huge that you don't know what you're getting. Whereas you get that kind of sweet spot of a certain number of teams, you're all going to kind of go around the same judges for the most part. So for the most part, all of those judges are going to be tasting your food somehow.
Yeah.
But when you have these really large groups, you know, it could just go anywhere and you don't know. So you don't really know who you're pleasing at this point.
Yeah.
So I think that's the juggle when it comes to these big ones. It doesn't stop us from competing in them, though. I mean, it's just the chance that you take, and it's the game that we choose to play.
Sure.
But moving on to pork, pork has been a very strong cook for us for the most part, like chicken. I think when it comes to KCBS, though, pork is one of those things where, you know, I like how in CBA we can fill the box with hot pulled, and then we have our monies and the whole thing stays hot. When it comes to KCBS, you can only fit, you know, a certain amount. So pork is kind of an anomaly to me when it comes to KCBS, because from what I see from people's pictures that they post, they go a very different route than us. KCBS almost has where it's like, oh, here's a pile of this and a pile of this and a pile of this. Whereas when we're boxing, we're trying to make it look like art in a sense. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm not too sure what's expected out of a KCBS pork box, but I thought we put out a strong box. I thought our monies were perfect. They weren't, you know, overcooked. They were the perfect tenderness, had really good flavor. I thought our medallions were very symmetrical in size, which is something that's very important to us. Mm-hmm. And I thought our pulled was very good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I thought that it was all really tasty, and I thought that we did what we wanted to do. And, you know, we got the approval from Dad, and the kids loved it, and we loved it, but we ended up with a 44th?
I think 45th, maybe?
45th pork. So at this point, obviously, the contest ain't going good for us. Now, do we know that we're getting these spots yet? We do not. But the contest ain't going good for us, right? So it all comes down to brisket. The cool thing about brisket this past week was we decided that we were going to, you know, I've got a lot of inboxes before the contest and the past couple of months as well, like, hey, brisket trim video, can you do a brisket trim video? And we're like, man, we've done them before, but we have changed our trim a little bit, so we'll definitely get one done. Well, we decided to do it for this contest.
Yeah.
So the exact brisket that we cooked at Danny Dietz, we did a trim video on it, and we showed our method of trimming a competition brisket. we do separate the point and the flat, and we show you exactly how we do that. We go into detail. It's a longer video. I think it's 22 minutes about, and I try and give as much detail as I can, right? So it's a very informative video. It's a little bit of a longer video, but if you guys want to know how we trim brisket and maybe just how to trim competition brisket in general, there's that video that came out today. Well, if you're listening on Friday, it came out on Wednesday, so go back and watch it, and we'll put a link in the description here. But the cool thing is, again, that brisket that we cooked we trimmed it for YouTube. We went to the contest, we injected it, it looked incredible, and I did have a really good feeling that, man, if we do what we do, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. So brisket cook went well, just like it has been. We did actually make some changes to our brisket, right? And we won't talk
changes that we did before, though. So
yes.
It's not like new. We kind of just went back to a little old school thing that we like to do.
So we basically took some stuff out of our recipe that we added last year, and we went back to basically the original, back to the beginning. And this has been a recipe that we run a lot, and we had success with it in the past, and we just wanted to try it again, because we hadn't really been hitting on brisket the way that we are used to. So we did make a few changes, and we ended up with a 4th place brisket. And out of the 93, 95 teams, whatever it was, man, that's pretty dang good.
Well, and then looking back, the first time we did Danny Dietz in 2023, the only call we got was a 10th place brisket, and it was with that same brisket recipe as well.
Yeah.
So it just kind of goes to show, sometimes just certain things that you cook hit in certain places.
For sure.
Now, yeah, as you said, the brisket trim, you can see exactly how that trim translated into the box, right? And it was a really good quality brisket from Bawari Craft.
Yeah. So shout out to Bawari. Nathan got us a banging brisket.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just beautiful. The marbling on it was incredible. The flavor was impeccable. It was nice and tender. In my opinion, it was just about a perfect brisket.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you talk about in terms of, trimming, right? When you start off with that brisket that's already symmetrical, you're going to get really, really nice slices out of that, especially when going into a KCBS where, yes, you can have burn ends, but you really want those slices to shine. They're front and center. Everything is a little elevated from that kale. So, they're going to see those slices. You want them to be the perfect shape if possible, right? So slicing into that brisket on that Saturday, I mean, those slices looked amazing. It's the most ideal, perfect scenario for us, especially when we're boxing, because I know, okay, these slices are the perfect thickness. They're going to lay really nicely. This is going to be the presentation I'm hoping for. And I feel like it's one of the, if not the best brisket box that we've put out in like over a year.
I think maybe ever. Just being honest. I mean, we've put out some really good brisket boxes, but that one was, in my opinion, really up there. I was really proud of that one, and it walked. I mean, it walked 4th, and that's great. I mean, obviously, who doesn't want a 1st place brisket? I shout out to Ira Green, but because he got the 1st place brisket. But I mean, man, I'll tell you what, I was very excited with a 4th, and it was kind of sort of the saving grace for us, right? If not, we would have just been sitting on our booties the whole time, which, it happens that way as well. But, we ended up with that 4th place brisket, and man, I felt just as confident with every single meat that I did that brisket. So, I just, it is what it is. It's just kind of how it happens. So we ended up, I don't even know what we got overall, but we ended up with a 4th place brisket walk, which was really great. And shout out to Nathan with Bawari Craft in Corpus Christi, Texas, again, for the amazing brisket. If you guys are not going there, if you live in the area, man, you got to call them and just make sure that you get your briskets from them. But don't get all the great ones, because I still want them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so the KCBS was fun. Man, we had planned on staying 2 days. We decided midway through the day, like, let's go home. So we got home really late that night, around midnight.
Yeah.
And, it was nice to wake up in our bed on Sunday, though. So, yeah, I mean, congrats again to Fred Robles, great friend, and Eddie Morales, great friend. Happy for those guys, genuinely happy for those guys. I had told you, man, I'm super happy for Fred. Like, he's just a great dude, great ambassador for barbecue, and, I mean, a hell of a cook as well.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to our kiddos who all did Kids Q. Now, even though nobody placed, it's just one of those things. And we told them this going in, just because, Penny's been winning, Poppy's been winning, does not mean you're going to win,
Yeah.
and the important thing is getting out there and trying.
For sure.
And that if you don't get a call, you still be a good sport and say, I'm going to try the next time. Don't let it get you down, right? And so I'm very proud of them.
For
I'm
sure.
proud of Piper for trying for her very first time.
Yeah.
And, it's just a really proud moment as a parent to see your kids try at anything, whether they succeed, whether they fail, no matter what. So I'm very proud of them. Good sports throughout the whole competition for us. It's a very busy, chaotic thing when you're doing KCBS. It's go, go, go. So just really proud of our kiddos.
Yeah, and that's kind of, one of the things that I love to talk about. And, you and I have conversations about it a lot. And I believe we talked about it last week in the podcast that didn't get released. But it's like, we are so grateful for the kids that we have because, man, they don't, of course, they're kids, right? So I'm sure a lot of the times they're like, ugh, another competition. Mom and dad are filming. They're doing this. They're doing that, whatever. I get it. But they never give us attitude, and they're such great kids. And I'm just blessed to have them in my life because, it's one of those things. If they were a lot more difficult, things would be a lot more difficult for us. But they make it easy, and they make it fun, and they're fun to be around. And even, with us being out there and not really walking, and, man, we didn't do that great at this contest, it's all good. We had a great time. We went to Buc-ee's afterwards. We got them shirts and blankets and candy and stuff like that. And those are the moments that really make everything worth it. We would have loved to have won 100%. Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier. When I was on the phone with Fred, right, the goal is to beat everybody. And even that day on the phone, Fred was like, man, I ain't gonna lie, I hope I beat you too. And that's kind of, I don't remember what my point was about that, but like, we're all there to beat each other. Yeah. Right. And Fred did it that day. So I'm super proud of him.
But it's like, if you don't win, you love to see the good ones win,
For sure. So yeah, I mean, it means a lot that two great cooks won.
For sure.
Eddie and Fred are great, amazing cooks. So that's always a great, great sign. And, at the next one, I don't know if Fred listens to the podcast, but he already knows that the next one we see him, like, our goal is to beat him.
For sure.
But also, I'll be talking to him and hanging out with him the whole time because he's one of my favorite people that I've met through barbecue.
We hear you get called, we're going to be happy for you.
For sure, 100%. I was genuinely, we got fourth brisket, Fred got third. Man, I gave him a big hug on the way up. I was happy about ours, and at that point, I pretty much knew he sealed it, and I was super happy for him. So, anyway, just overall a great weekend. We're really, really thankful to get away with a fourth place brisket. Would have loved to have done better, but hey, it is what it is. Now, Sabrina and I do have a little bit of an announcement here, and it is something that we've thought about for like the past 3 weeks to a month maybe, and it has to do with our competition class. So by now, I've already reached out to everybody and let them know, or probably by now, but we do plan on canceling our upcoming class, and the reason is because the dates are just conflicting with some other stuff that we have to do. It is very unfortunate, but we've got a very busy rest of the year. So we do plan on announcing something for early next year, but it's just we tried to make things work. Unfortunately, it is not going to work. So everybody that signed up for the class has already been contacted and already been refunded for their down payment, and we will make sure to announce if we do another one. That being said, our biggest goal right now, one of our biggest goals, is to get all of our classes online onto our website. And what we really want to do, and I mentioned this on the live the other day, we really want to make this affordable for you guys, and we want to make it convenient for you guys. This doesn't mean we won't do classes, and this doesn't mean we're not open to a shadow class, but we want to make this affordable, and we want to make sure that we are growing the game of barbecue. If anybody has a want to get into competition barbecue, we want to be an avenue for them to be able to get into it at an affordable price while not just giving our stuff away, right? Because we have worked hard and we have had some success, and we do feel like even though right now we might not be winning as much as we used to, we still know what we're doing and we still offer value. So we do plan on announcing before the end of the year, hopefully, a way to purchase our classes and watch those videos online. And we hopefully will be doing some competition content throughout the year. And we have some ideas, right? We're going to be doing some videos that will be like exclusive competition videos, and they'll be fun and they'll be, interactive, and we're going to find ways to do it. So we are sorry to disappoint if people are disappointed about that. Hopefully you understand. I'm telling you, we got to travel next week. We got to travel next month. We got to travel in November. It's just, there's just so much going on, and it's a good thing. It's a great thing. We're blessed, but it is a little bit conflicting. We're not going to be able to make it happen, and we will make it up to you guys. So, thank you for continuing to support, and hopefully, we will be able to announce something else here really soon. But, we want to move on to the final segment here, and that would be some questions. We did ask on Facebook if anybody had any questions here, so we'll go ahead and have Sabrina start those off, and then we'll read those off for the remainder of the podcast.
Yes, and so our first comment comes from Tyler Wolverton, and he just says, Kids Q. Now, here's something I want to say about Kids Q. Now, we've had our kids practice at home before they go to an event, or if it's their first time cooking, we try to have them practice, get some knowledge in. Of course, they do learn a lot from us. The one thing I will say about Kids Q is I wish that the kids could bring their own proteins, because a lot of the times, which I understand, they're trying to provide the meats for all the kids, which is great. But at the same time, sometimes it's a little bit of a cluster. I don't even know what the word is that I'm looking for, but sometimes the proteins that they're bringing, it's just a wide variety of types of qualities of proteins, right? So like, for example, with steak, our kids, they practice with like a normal size steak that you
like
would
a 1-inch thick.
Right. So, they're trimming their steaks. They're putting the twine around their steaks to keep them in place. But then you go to a Kids Q and you've got like a really like 1/2-inch steak, and then it's like
their timing's off and stuff.
Right. So
the one thing I'll say about that is it's all about adjusting, right? It's about adjusting. So the kids, as they get older, they will learn to adjust to those things, and then they'll understand like, oh, it's a thinner steak. I need to cook it less amount of time.
Right.
I'm not saying it's easy, but it is kind of part of the journey, in my opinion. Now, that being said, I've always told the kids, hey, if your steak ain't that great, go up there earlier and or make it good. Make it taste good, right? So
yeah.
I do think that that's really important as well.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think that's part of growing as a cook, is being able to adjust to difficult or, different scenarios than what you're used to. But I'm just throwing that out there. I think it'd be great if they could bring their own proteins, because ideally it's like if you bring the best quality that you could, that would be awesome. But I understand the concept of, the whole point is to just try and get kids to cook.
Yeah.
So you want to donate what you can
we
to
need
get everybody
to get
out.
to a point where we can donate.
Yeah, that would be
like
really cool.
We really need to get to a point where we can donate like good steaks. And honestly, the steaks that they gave this past weekend were fine. We're grateful that Kids Q was there and the kids got the opportunity to compete. But I would love to get to a point where we can donate steaks and like get like really good steaks, because I think also part of it is like the kids see a good steak, they get really excited. And so it just kind of brings a little bit more joy and a little more fun to the sport. But man, Kids Q overall.
Well, shoot, and some of these kids, there's kids in Kids Q, younger or older than our kids, who have been doing Kids Q for a while. So they take it really seriously too. So I think there's just a matter of for them to be able to be at the top of their game would be cool.
Yeah, and so Tyler was actually right next to us, right? His daughter did Kids Q, and if I'm not mistaken, she got second place Kids Q.
Maybe, and I think she did both categories.
She did both categories.
Right.
She did the steak and the open. So if I'm not mistaken, Tyler's daughter did do very, very, very well. Yeah. So shout out to your daughter for doing an amazing job. I got to watch her cooking, and it is really cool to see these kids that kind of like they know what they're doing.
Oh, they take it seriously.
And they do. And I love it. I love that, because it's the same thing for us, right? We take it seriously as well. And, like Tyler, for example, he takes his daughter over there. He bought her a grill. He gets charcoal. Like, he's spending money as well for his daughter to hopefully do well. And I think it's just amazing when they do well. So shout out to your daughter, Tyler. Congratulations to her for a great job at the Kids Q, especially with that many kids. Just amazing. Shout out to her and congratulations. Cody Tuttle says the GOATs, and he's talking about me and Chance V because the picture that I posted, a lot of the times I just post a picture. So it's like not just text, and it's just me and Chance V serving people at Tuttle's. So shout out to Cody. We love you. You are the GOAT, brother.
Pedro Tovar says, best stick burner / offset smoker to buy in 2025. Been looking into buying a new smoker like a Workhorse, Franklin, or Goldie's by M&M, etc. Around that price range.
Yeah, so this is kind of what I mentioned a little bit earlier about the Outlaw. So the Outlaw does have a backyard patio version, and I think that would be a great option for you. And this is, you guys, I hope you guys understand, this is not a sponsored thing. I'm not being paid to say this, but I truly believe the Outlaw is the best offset I've ever had. It's just such a well-built thing, and the thing I love about Jay is he's very open and he listens to people when it comes to these cookers, right? So he's made adjustments over time to make this smoker even better. And I just love the cooker. I think you would love the offset, in your backyard. And that would be my personal choice. Now, other than that, the reason I say that is because I have an Outlaw. I've used an Outlaw. I've never used a Workhorse, Franklin, or the M&M. I will say the M&M, they look beautiful. And I've always been really intrigued by M&M, for sure. So if I was to look into anything besides the Outlaw, it would be the M&M personally. If you're looking for something, in that price range for sure, I would probably go for the M&M second and the Outlaw first. And like I said, that's not to say any of the others are bad. I do not know anything about them. I only know about the Outlaw, and I know that it runs very, very, very well. And then the M&M, they look beautiful, and I'm sure they work very well as well because, man, a lot of the top restaurants in Texas use M&M.
Yeah.
So I think that you have a really, really good smoker that you can buy there, and it's going to work because it's proven in a lot of these top restaurants.
Yeah, for sure.
Josh Williams says, can you do a dry brine versus wet brine video on a turkey breast? Yes. I'm curious to see how they turn out and your opinions on which is better. Absolutely 100%. We will do that this weekend. We'll have that ready for you next week.
Chance Vernon says, is it time?
Yeah, and he's just that's in reference for him coming back on the podcast. It is time. You let me know when, and we'll have you in the office, brother.
Yeah, the kids love it when I'm not doing a podcast and I can chill with them.
Yeah.
So, come on, Chance.
Xavier Gonzalez says, I know it's still 2 months out, but can you give me some Thanksgiving ideas, birds, sides, ham? I don't want to be boring about it, but I can tell you this much. Turkey breasts?
Turkey breasts.
Do turkey breasts instead of a full turkey. Personal opinion.
We've already discussed this with the family.
We're literally just doing turkey breasts, and we're taking, I'm smoking turkey breasts, and we're just taking them all to my mom's house. That's what our Thanksgiving is going to be this year. And other than that, man, get you a good mac and cheese recipe. We will be putting out our mac and cheese recipe again because, dude, I'm biased, but I think Sabrina bakes the best macaroni and cheese in the world. It is so good to me. Everybody loves it, and I love it. So
it's highly requested.
Right, it is highly requested. So I think that turkey breasts, macaroni and cheese, man, make some good rolls. And I actually put out a roll video a couple of years back. Remember that?
It is a good recipe.
It's a great recipe, but those videos never do good for us. And back then we were nowhere near as, we didn't have as many subscribers, so it got very, very, very little views. But I will say, try those rolls out, man. And if you're going to do a ham, do a double smoked, put a nice glaze on the outside. Maybe by then our glaze will be ready to rock and roll. You just never know. But we're working on it, I promise. But I think that's definitely what I want to do for Thanksgiving is I want to make a couple of different turkey breasts, one injected and one this way. So
so much faster too.
100%.
Freeze up the oven.
100%.
Raul Villanueva says, how often do you clean your grills and what products do you recommend for cleaning them?
So we clean our grills pretty often, I would say. I mean, not after every cook or anything, but we clean them pretty often. And my favorite product to use is the oven grill cleaner from Sam's Club. It's the Members Mark, right? Members Mark?
Yeah.
It's like a white bottle with a blue label. We'll see if we can't get a link and put it in the description if you can remember that, Sabrina.
Yeah.
But, man, I the inside of your grills, any gunk, anything, it will pick it right up.
Yeah.
And they are incredible. That stuff is incredible. So I really love it. The outside of the grill, it is important to me, but it's not like the most important thing ever. So we don't clean those as much, but I clean my grill pretty often. I mean, you can ask Sabrina. I will sit in the front yard and I will wash my offset.
Well, when we were using drums for competition, I mean, we were cleaning those very regularly because we prefer a clean drum. You know, make sure there's nothing on the sides, make sure that the grates are clean, making sure that there's not a bunch of gunk at the bottom, especially when you're doing things with a lot of sauce. You don't want all that stuff just sitting there at the bottom of your drum. So we do like to keep them clean. But yeah, the degreaser and even just some Dawn dish soap
for sure
works wonders.
Yeah, the Dawn Power Spray is really good. We use that a lot as well. So. But yeah, I clean my grills pretty often. So my thing is, like Sabrina said, I like to control flavor. If there's gunk at the bottom of my smoker and or grill, man, let's just say like I made jalapeno poppers, and I know this because it's happened before.
Yeah.
And you got the sauce and you got the cream cheese and everything that fell to the bottom and hardened. Man, when that kind of catches on fire, you can smell it. In my opinion, it doesn't smell good. That is also going to, in turn, give your food flavor. I don't want that on my food. So I clean my grill very often, and we use the products that we mentioned. Troy Strunk says, do you guys, gals, think competition barbecue would be better if the comp supplied the proteins and keep the competition more balanced? I think that's a really good question, but I also think that's a really hard question to answer because there's no way that everybody is going to get the same proteins.
Well, see, and that's kind of goes to what I was saying about Kids Q, right?
Yeah.
Is that in a way it ideally it sounds like, oh, this would be a good way to keep things balanced, right? But it doesn't, because the thing is people who do competition, we already know that this stuff costs a lot.
For sure.
You know, we know that that's part of it, and we know that cooks are going in with the best possible brisket that they can, the best possible ribs, the best possible pork, you know, so we're all okay with doing that. We would rather give ourselves the best possible opportunity to win. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go out with a prime and beat everybody, because you can. We've done it. Yeah. But you want to give yourself the best possible opportunity. So I personally wouldn't like that idea, especially because I think, you know, we do a lot when it comes to our meat selection. You know, there's specific things that we look for as like for the shape. Now, that being said, I think it's an interesting idea. Because I do think, there's a skill to cooking what you are given and making it good. But, I think everybody likes to give themselves the best possible opportunity to win. So I think we're okay with spending the money on quality meats if we have to.
Yeah, no doubt. But I do think that's a really great question. So thank you for that one. My girl Rochelle says, outside of turkey, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish to make and eat? We kind of just talked about this a little bit. Sabrina's macaroni and cheese, also sweet potatoes.
Ooh, the sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes with the brown sugar and the marshmallows and the pecans on top. Dude, game over.
I like to put a little crumble topping on there too. So that's definitely one of my favorites. I'm a dessert person too, so I like the desserts. We even have a recipe for a pumpkin cake, which is one of your favorites. I like pumpkin roll. I like pie with ice cream. Yeah. But also like green beans and even not even just green bean casserole, but we like to make some green beans with like onions, tomatoes, and bacon. That's like really, really good. Yeah. Those are the things I look forward to for Thanksgiving.
No doubt.
Evan Warren says, comp brisket or Texas brisket. 16 mesh pepper and seasoned salt, no wrap, slow smoked and finished around 195, 198, and kept in a warming oven overnight, wrapped in foil with some tallow, for example.
So I think he's asking which one I prefer.
Right.
And Texas brisket. No doubt, 100% of the time. That's the thing that also I wish people would understand. Just because we cook competition brisket the way we cook it does not mean that that's what we prefer, right? So we're trying to hit all the flavor profiles in one bite. We're trying to make it look good. We're trying to, and I've mentioned this before, I'll say it again, saucing is not just for flavor. It's going to help retain moisture. It's going to help it almost masks dryness a little bit. So because You have no idea how long it's going to take for them to judge your brisket when it hits that table. Could be 20 minutes. That sauce is going to help that moisture retain a little bit, and it's also going to act as moisture, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if it does dry out a little bit over time, that sauce is going to kind of help it be a little bit more moist, and it's just going to be overall good. But yes, for me personally, I am always choosing a good backyard brisket over a comp brisket. Two things. Number one, it's simple. It's tried and true. It's like the original, right, brisket, and I love that. And, man, that's just my preference. Like, just the other day, I made one, and I took it to work because Armando brought a brisket to work. Brought a brisket to me, so I made it and took it to the guys. It was banging. It was banging, and that's just my preference. So I would never choose a comp brisket over a backyard brisket.
Well, now that being said, surprisingly, I like a bit of a mixture of the two because I do, and I'm the person who's always said, like, sauce isn't my thing, but I really love, like, the barkiness of a Texas-style backyard brisket. I really, really like that, but I also like in comp how we utilize, like, the au jus and a little bit of sauce. I think that just adds everything. So if I could have a Texas-style brisket but dip it in all the stuff that we dip in for comp, that would probably be my preferred, honestly.
Sure. Hey, I mean, everybody's different. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think he just wanted to know.
For sure.
So that's a great question as well. We appreciate it, Evan.
What's your favorite, Evan? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, Evan. Jonathan Brunette, shout out Jonathan, says, them glazes, that is all. And, man, all I can tell you is if you guys follow us on Facebook, we released pictures of the bottle that the glazes are going to be in. We showed a picture of the flip cap that's going to be on the glazes, and we're getting closer and closer. Like I said, we're just waiting on a few things, finalizing a few things, and we're hoping to bring these to the market. I mean, I wish tomorrow, right? I mean, it's not going to be tomorrow, but I wish it was tomorrow. And overall, we're just waiting. We're just waiting. Thank you guys for being patient with us. We are very excited to bring these to the market, and we plan on doing a lot of videos on them and showing you guys how we like to use them and all that good stuff. So we do appreciate it. But that's all the questions for today. Sabrina, did you have anything else that you needed to talk about?
No, I think we kind of caught up on everything that we wanted to get to or that we discussed last week but didn't get to release.
Yep, 100%. So if Sabrina has nothing else, I'm all good. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe right now. We're closer and closer to 100,000 subscribers every single day. Would appreciate it if you guys did subscribe. It's completely free, and it does help the channel grow. If you guys, what's up?
I'll say one more thing. Yeah. Happy birthday to my dad. Because if he's watching this or listening on Friday, it is his birthday. So happy birthday, Dad. We love you.
Yep, we do love you. Happy birthday, Jason. Appreciate you for everything that you've done for us. And hopefully you have a great day. If you guys are listening on Apple, Spotify, anything, man, share this with a friend. Maybe they like to hear us talk about barbecue, or they'll find some comfort in listening to us talk in general. I kind of mentioned it briefly, but, last week was a weird week for me. Like I said, personal things that kind of happened at work and in life. And I'll tell you what, if you guys are ever having anything like that, man, don't be afraid to reach out seriously to me via Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I want to leave a mark in this world. And I don't want it to be as an influencer. I don't want it to be as anything. I want it to be that we are known as good people, and we've always tried to do right by people. That's very important to me. This is all great. This platform we have is amazing. I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't tell you guys that this is something that is super important to me. When we pass away one of these days, hopefully a very, very, very long time from now, our legacy is everything. It's how we treated people when we were here. It's the things that we taught to our kids. It's the things that our kids carry on with them forever. So I'm completely fine. Just had a couple of bad days, like I said, at work and stuff. And, just things that kind of make you think. It can all be taken in an instant. Don't forget that. Don't ever forget that. And don't forget to live today to the fullest, right? Tomorrow's not promised. And I know that sometimes that's a scary thing to think about, but it is a truth. It is a fact. And whatever you want in your life, go after it. Seriously. Head first. Don't slow down. Do everything you can to achieve your goals within reason. Don't do anything bad to people. Don't, steal. Don't do anything like that. Attack it and make it happen. Even if it's a barbecue seasoning, even if it's a YouTube channel, even if it's a glaze, even if you are my and our direct competitor. I'm all for it. I want you to succeed. You cannot ever do anything that is going to offend me as long as you're doing good things for you, right? Just be a good person. Like I said, try and attack your goals and do whatever you want to do in life. Remain humble. It can all be taken away in an instant. I love you guys. We'll see you, and you'll hear us on the next episode. Peace.